Most analysts are already forecasting faster inflation here for February, but we're just at the beginning of that brewing tension in Ukraine. Should this show no signs of abating anytime soon, do you see this driving up prices even more? And up to what level do you expect that to be happening and when?
Well, hopefully, Jess, we're still seeing normalization of the inflation base in the sense that we came from a higher base a year ago. So the year-on-year inflation would hopefully be maintained at the 3% levels. And, well, of course, the immediate impact of the geopolitical risks involving Russia and Ukraine would be the increase in global oil prices. As of this morning, we have seen again some upticks in global oil price. When to put things in perspective from the highs that we have seen last Thursday, when they reach the benchmarks reach above $100, they're still well, at least they're still down by about somewhere between $3 to $5 based on the different oil benchmarks. The Brent oil, however, is back to a little over $100 per barrel. So definitely that would lead to some increase again in local fuel pump prices. And there are also other commodities, the prices of which also went up, especially those coming from both Russia and Ukraine. I'm talking about the likes of wheat, soybeans, and other grains. And of course, other than those commodities, we also have the likes of metals from Russia. And we all know that Russia also exports a lot of other commodities. So, of course, the sanctions and the various sanctions that not only on trade but also on the payment systems could potentially disrupt and reduce global trade and economic recovery prospects. And of course, the higher prices would definitely be passed on, especially if those that are imported by the country, like oil, wheat, soybeans. So, among others, and some metals also. So that would lead to some other affected goods and services. There may be some uptick in prices. So definitely inflation would also pick up at the latter end of the 3% levels. So hopefully it won't reach 4% year on year, because of course we have to consider the fact that the ability of, say, businesses to pass on the prices is still somewhat limited by the fact that demand cost conditions coming from lockdowns and of course the pandemic is still the ongoing pandemic. So the ability to pass on may be limited. So that could mean margin compression, of course, by some of these producers and manufacturers and those who import these commodities. So yeah, that would be the impact. But hopefully, yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yes, sir. I wanted to interrupt you, sorry, because you mentioned, not just oil, diba? We've always been talking about the oil story, but now we're talking about commodities. To what extent are we a trade partner of Ukraine, of Russia, or are we actually isolated from this issue? There are, in fact, analysts that are saying that we might even benefit when it comes to the mining sector because we might be able to export more nickel or other commodities now that there are sanctions there.
Danny, well, the amount of trade of the country with Russia and with Ukraine may be relatively smaller in terms of volume compared to the major trading partners. Yes, there may be some pockets of opportunities, like for instance, for nickel, considering that the Philippines is also a major exporter in the region, and that would benefit us also, because some of the sourcing, in view of the sanctions, in view of for both trade and the payments and other transactions, so the country may benefit from it, because definitely other countries around the world would look for other alternative suppliers other than Russia. So hopefully the Philippines could also benefit from that. But of course, we have yet to see, since all of these are still fresh, or these new sets of sanctions being announced. So let's see. But hopefully there would be already some channels for diplomacy soon, as Ukraine already agreed to for diplomatic talks with Russia. Let's see. Hopefully, there would be some resolution to this, and hopefully there would be a better path to peace rather than war that could create. Of course, we already, the world already encountered supply side disruptions since the pandemic, and we don't want this to add to that. No? And we all know, given the pre-existing supply side disruptions, they have already been inflationary in the sense. So we don't want that to add to the supply on the supply side constraints.